I've just picked up this little treasure. It's a Suzuki Jeep. Looks like it's been submerged in salt water at some stage. It's like 80% rust. But the reason I got it was for the engine. It's got a Nissan A12. It's the same engine that I have in my sawmill, and I've been looking for one for quite a few years. They are quite hard to get hold of these days, in decent shape. It's been sitting out in a paddock for like 20 years, so it doesn't run, and it's missing a few parts, like the carburetor has gone, and I see the coil has been taken off as well. So yeah, I'm going to have to borrow a few parts off the sawmill just to see if it runs. It does have oil. It's pretty black, but there is oil in there, so that's a good start. But the radiator is bone dry, so I don't know what's going on there. Possibly a blown head gasket or a leak somewhere. The engine does turn. I think that compression is fairly low because that shouldn't turn as easily as that. But even if I have to put new rings in it or something, I think I can hear something there. Oh, loose spark plugs, okay. Yeah, the plugs are loose. That would explain the low compression anyway. The rest of it is pretty much just junk. It's just so rusty that you can't really do much with that. I mean, the front diff may be salvageable, but you can see all the brake lines and everything are pretty much rusted through, so yeah, it's not worth a lot. It's got a Holden rear diff on it. You can see it's quite a bit wider, and there's no drive shaft to the rear diff, and there's an interesting suspension arrangement at the back here. I've just put springs up and tucked them into a little ledge there, so they'll probably fly off when it goes over the first big bump, if I can get it running. And there's the old rear diff. Apparently something went wrong with that. I'm not too sure what, but we'll have a good look at all that. And she's pretty rough inside. You can see, yeah, the floor's all rusted out, and yeah, they've taken the seats out and everything, but she's a bit of a doer-upper. Oh, look at that. You can see there's not a lot holding those springs in. I just basically sat them in there, and they were resting on that part. Let's see if that stays in there. Oh. Right. All the bits seem to be in the distributor. That looks okay. Yep. My first car was actually a Datsun 120Y, so I've got a bit of a soft spot for these old engines. Alright, we'll see if that radiator holds water first of all. Yeah, that was pretty much empty. There's a bit of water coming out of there already, down on that bottom pipe. Maybe a new clamp will fix that. So there's an old clamp there that's come off. Yeah. Hello, Pop Pop. You gonna help me, are you? Hey, buddy? This is Rosie, by the way. A lot of people asking who the new puppy is. She's an English Bull Terrier. She's a bit of a handful. Into everything. It's growing so fast. Oh, that's made it worse. Bugger. Maybe the internal pipe has collapsed. Oh, I see, so it's burst up the top there, yeah. Right. Oh, gets a bit of a drain at the same time. Yeah, that'll be the problem. Oh, I see, so it's corroded up there. Yeah. Well, we'll give that pipe a bit of a clean up and see if we can stick it on a bit further just to ascertain whether it's going to run or not. It's not so bad further up. That seems to be holding water now. See how that goes. It's a bit of a worry that the plugs were loose and they are quite rusty as well. The fact that it's been just sitting out in the paddock for 20 years, I actually think it's probably had a little bit of water in the cylinders. Well, this intake manifold has had the carburetor off it for years. There might be a bit of dust and crap in there, so I'll take that off and give it a good clean out. We'll see if we can get it turning over. No, nothing much going on there. We will do it the old-fashioned way. Wow, look at that. She turns over alright. That's brilliant. Doesn't sound too bad actually. There's no horrible noises going on in there. So that's good to see. The starter motor works. I'll disconnect that for now. So I noticed the coil has been flogged at some stage. Yeah, so we'll take the coil off the sawmill and see if we can get it sparking. Try and figure out this wiring. I assume that one is from the ignition. Test that. No. Yeah, looks like the wiring is all pretty messed up. What have we got down there? 2 volts. Right. See, there's a loose wire there. Okay. Alright, so that wire there goes onto there, by the looks of it. Alright, let's try that. That's the one. Right, we should have power to that coil now. Test that wire. Yep, we're getting voltage to that wire now, so that goes to the coil. And I'll turn the key off and see if that switches off. Yep, that's working well. I just switched the key off and it dropped the power. So we'll hook that one up to the coil. From the ignition, through the ballast resistor, and then to the coil. And that one goes to the carburetor. I'll just put that aside for now, and now we can test the spark. Plugs are a bit rusty. It looks like it's had some moisture down there because they were a little bit loose. I guess the moisture's just seeped down there over the years. Hopefully it hasn't got into the cylinders too much. Put a squirt of oil down each cylinder just to lube up the rings. No, nothing there yet. Let's have a look at those points. And the points are opening. Yeah, there's a bit of water in there, so we'll give that a clean out. I do have a spark there, but it's quite weak. I might have to adjust the points. At least that's a good start. It is sparking. I have a feeling this coil might be on the way out because the sawmill engine has been missing a bit as well, so that could be that coil. So we'll go through and test all those plugs, and then we'll throw some fuel down its throat and see what it does. Yep, that's sparking as well. Yep, healthy spark on that one. It's good, it's looking promising. It's the beauty of these old engines, they're brutally simple. No computers to worry about. Last one. Yep, that's sparking as well. So all four are sparking. Alright, we'll get that carburetor off there. Yep, that's working. Alright, the fuel tank is rusted out and there's no line going to it here, so I'm just going to rig up an old four-wheeler tank here and plumb the fuel line straight into the carburetor. That should gravity feed into there, no problems. Yeah, she's a runner. Nice. Oh well, she's a runner. Doesn't sound too bad actually. So now I know it's going to go, I'll dump that oil out and change the oil filter, and then we'll give it a good run and try and get it moving. Oh yeah. Oh man, very tight. So that's just binding up on the rubber seal. Yeah, it's coming though. The oil that came out of it. There's a few little chunks in it. No major pieces of metal in there, just a little bit of metal glitter. Right, I've picked up a new filter and oiled the seal, so it should come off a bit easier next time. Spot on, that's perfect. Let's give her a bit of a run now. Oh, that's brilliant. That's running really well. No silly noises or anything. It's a little bit rough idling until it warms up, but it probably just needs a little tune up. That coolant seems to be circulating okay. The radiator's warm, so yeah, the water pump and thermostat are working. It's a good little engine, I think. Oh, there's the choke cable there. Okay, so that will make it easier. Just have to attach that onto there. It only took me probably 6 hours to get that up and running, and yeah, now I've got a perfectly good spare for the sawmill. So I'll just tidy everything up now and get this sitting a bit better, and we'll see if it moves along under its own power. It only has a drive shaft to the front diff. The rear one's been taken away, so yeah, it's only going to be two-wheel drive, but it doesn't have brakes anyway, so I'll just be playing around on the flat if I get it moving. Oh well, it does drag itself along on that front axle. Everything feels quite sloppy, and like the whole chassis feels like it's going to break in half, so wouldn't want to go too far on it. The engine is missing a little bit, so it needs a tune up, I think, and also a better fuel system. This is a little bit low volume, I think. Every time you rev it up, it sort of hesitates and then gets going, but yeah, I think that's just a matter of tuning it up. Possibly the carb needs a clean out, because the sawmill was doing that as well, but not quite so bad. It's not actually putting out a lot of smoke, so I think it's a fairly good engine, and yeah, that oil pressure is looking good. Best $50 I've ever spent, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.